The once great state of New York is no longer allowing its public schools to use Indian names for school mascots, per a recent Gateway Pundit article.
Now mandating all public schools to stop using any Native American imagery.
Schools that don't comply with the November ruling by 2025 will risk losing state funding.
If a district doesn't commit by the end of the year to changing its Native American team name, penalties include withholding state aid.
Of course, taxpayers will be the ones to pay for the removals of names and imagery on scoreboards, turf fields, uniforms, and the like.
Students and parents we spoke with acknowledge changing history will be tough.
What's most concerning and will be focused on in this report isn't the change itself, but rather the intention behind it. The excuse is that keeping the names becomes a barrier to building a safe and nurturing environment for students, whatever the blue hell that means. And what the ideology of the left leaves out is the lack of respect to so-called Native Americans by nicknaming teams or schools as Braves, Chiefs, or Warriors. None of those sound like any actual tribes that ever existed.
Navajo, Blackfoot, Inuit, and Sioux.
If anything, they should be referred to by tribe names: the Shawnee, Choctaw, Seminole, Cherokee, Blackfoot, Iroquois, and so on.
Seneca, Mohawk, and Creek.
But just as with everything else the left politicizes, individuals don't matter. It's all about the collective. If you're enjoying these videos, be sure to take a moment to like and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to the James Anthony Report today. It's free and only takes a second. Now back to the report.
Come on, man!
As we all know, millions and millions of immigrants came through Ellis Island in New York, with many of these individuals being Italian.
So many other ethnic groups have marched with us.
The conversation surrounding native name or logo changes is almost never brought up without referencing Christopher Columbus and the cultural celebration that is Columbus Day. First and foremost, the Italian explorer was funded by the Spanish, and what most fail to recognize is the Spanish term for God. Because the expedition to South America was largely considered a failure, it should be obvious to point out that the explorer knew he didn't hit India. In fact, it could be argued that he saw the natives as one with God. They were in Dios. Dios being the Spanish word for God, and which later became the word for Indian. Another component of these discussions that those on the left often overlook is their unwavering loyalty to a corrupt deep state that brought about the atrocities on native tribes in the first place.
Will the American government steal? Will it lie? Will it kill? I have no desire to see the poor remnants of a once powerful people. The removal bill represents oppression with a vengeance.
They seem to forget that Columbus didn't wipe out the natives. Some Native Americans in fact helped in the Revolutionary War, which formed the country we now live in. And it was the government that went back on its promises. So while New York becomes yet another example of the disingenuous way in which the Native American problems are addressed, the fact remains that there is so much left on the table in terms of the very real problems of alcoholism, drugs, education, and reservation life in general.
Jurisdictional issues, low police staffing, and large areas, reservations experience comparatively high crime rates and low prosecution rates even compared to other rural settings. Violence against women is more common among Native American groups. Even if an assault happens on a reservation, there are few resources and support options for Native women. Due to differences in legal systems, Native American courts do not have jurisdiction to prosecute non-tribal people. They would have to be tried in state or federal courts.
And if we really want to pay homage to natives, we can take a cue from the recent Mario Brothers movie, a non-woke attempt that portrays a less than perfect image of an obviously Italian character. The movie made money, and no real discussions about Italians depicted as stout, mushroom-eating plumbers with cartoonish accents took place, when in fact, on some level, it's true. Instead of hiding each other's culture under this woke umbrella, let's honor each individual group and recognize some unique differences, assuming there's any natives left to do so. And if you can't find one, you can probably thank the federal government for that. This is James Anthony reporting.